Hey, what's going on, guys? So today's video is going to be talking about a different style of can opener that some people may or may not know how to use. So I'm going to give you a demo on this in a little bit. It is known as a lobster claw or a potato digger. All right, so this is a much older design and a much less effective design than modern can openers. Now, what kind of prompted this video is I had a message from someone about a week ago or so, and they said, you know, when the problem and the virus first hit, they went to the store and bought a bunch of canned goods. And some of those canned goods don't have, you know, the simple modern pop tops on them, you know, the pull tabs or anything. So they had to use a can opener. And they had a Swiss Army knife and they wanted to know how to use the can opener and a Swiss Army knife. Now I started to explain it and then I said, you know what, there's awesome videos on YouTube. A lot of people demonstrate how to use, different variants of Swiss Army knife can openers. And it was very helpful to the person and they thanked me and it made me think of this. Right, this is, and I showed this not too long ago, this was a wonderful gift from a German viewer. This is an Otter Mercator, all right, and this is their, multi-tool version of it. Okay, usually it's a much simpler knife with just the blade, but this one happens to have the corkscrew. This has the awl, a very, very beefy awl, and this also has a can opener. But this can opener style is a much older style of can opener. Again, more known as a potato digger, but there's other variants of this called a lobster claw. Okay, for simple reasons, it looks like a lobster claw. And I kind of forget which one's which because on this old knife, there's a very similar version. This is an old Boy Scout knife. All right, I want to say late 20s, early 30s, possibly older. I forget. I've dated all of my knives before, but there's a bunch of them, so it's kind of hard to keep track sometimes. But this is a different variant on that where it almost looks like a hammer here. Okay, there's a couple little teeth. It might be hard to see. This is an old version of it, but see there's three little points there. So I forget exactly which one's which. I want to say that the one on the left is maybe the potato digger style and the one on the right is the lobster claw. But regardless, you can see these are very similar. Now how these work is pretty crude, to be honest. All right, I have a can here. I'm going to go demo. I got a can of pears. All right, which is going to be my breakfast. So how this works is you puncture this point. Okay, so here's our blade, and the blade is not like ridiculously sharp or anything. It is ground down to an edge, but obviously if it was crazy sharp, it would dull out in rubbing metal, right? So you want to stab this point into the can, and then you're going to put the can edge all the way into the crevice here, and you're going to work it to basically lift the lid out. So it's cutting and the sharp edge of the can is pointing outwards. Now you're going to see quite quickly that this is not a very good design. This is one of the original designs for can openers. Now there's a ton of styles of old can openers. At some point they just had a specifically shaped blade with no mechanism really for prying. So again, as years went by and this was served in many of armies, they found that soldiers were cutting themselves on the sharp edges of the cans. So eventually they changed the design so that it was much safer. So let's get into this. We're going to stab this. Now keep in mind too that this pivots this way. Okay, so any pressure put downward on this is going to close this tool. All right, same with the with this one as well. So you just want to be careful of that when using these. So we're going to poke this into the can here, just like so. And I want to get more towards the edge. You can push it in. There we go. Okay. So now you want to push this down and pivot up. I'm going to be turning the can as I'm doing this. This is very difficult, by the way. You see how I'm pushing forward and lifting up. Pushing forward and lifting up. This is how this can opener works. Okay. Now, there's a lot of room for error here and a lot of room to injure yourself severely. It is not the best can opener design, nor is it the safest. Okay, so I'm still working my way around. Now you can see how this edge it's cutting upwards. Okay, so it's be very dangerous for a soldier to come in here and slip and slice their hands open, and they have. All right, once you get about 3/4 of the way around, you can lift the lid You don't have to cut it completely off, but you can carefully lift that lid up, all right, and access the contents of the can. So you can see the cut here. If I zoom in, we have a lot of sharp edges that are raised up here, okay, all around the can. Again, it's just cutting outward, whereas modern can opener designs cut downward, okay, so that while you're using it, if you happen to slip, you're not going to rub your hand, wrist, arm, all that onto sharp edges of metal, okay. There were a lot of cases of soldiers cutting themselves using this style of can opener, and that's why eventually it prompted someone to design, you know, a totally different way to do it so that it was not going to be dangerous for the user. So just wanted to show that. Thought that was pretty interesting. This is the, again, lobster claw or potato digger style of can opener. So if for some reason you're stuck somewhere and this is the only can opener you have, now you know how to use it. All right, it's effective, it opens the can, but you can see, I mean, even like my cuts, I could have stayed more towards the rim to have more of an open hole, you know, or end result here. So anyway, that's it for now. Just wanted to show that in case you've never seen it before, or if you happen to get an old knife and you see this style of can opener on there, that's how it's done. It's, again, it's outdated, it's dangerous, it's effective, but it's definitely not the way to go. If you have another way to open the can, safer, then I would certainly do so. But, you know, for the people who collect older knives and stuff, you might see this tool and go, wait a minute, is that, you know, kind of, maybe it's a can opener? Yeah, it is a can opener. It's just a very outdated design. So the potato digger style or lobster style can opener, not my favorite, but certainly interesting. It's a very interesting design. So anyway, that's it for now. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Take care.